Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Prosperous Womb and to day 26 of our journey through the book of Proverbs. We have had an interesting time. If you've been journeying along with us over the last 25 chapters, or you're just joining us today, we are using God's word, God's wisdom in the book of Proverbs to light up our lives, our businesses, our relationships, our health, our friendships, everything in our life and our business, to support us to make better, wiser decisions, to support us to work wiser and not harder. And we've learned so much about wisdom, where to find it, how to get it, what it means for us in our businesses, what it does for our lives, and our relationship to God and who He is in and through us in our work. Now, in chapter 26, we are going to talk about drama, gossip, foolishness, strife, curses. Bad choices. It's like a TV show, basically, But let's dive in and see what we can take from chapters 26 to apply not just to our coaching businesses, but to our lives, because our lives and our business are intertwined, and who we be in our life is how we show in our business and what we do in our business. So how can we be that woman of wisdom, that woman who supports herself at the highest level, with the highest level of insight, accountability, and responsibility? And how do we show up in our business from that place? And what do we co-create with clients from this place? And how do we be in the world, in our mission? How do we show up as a child of God in our identity? And what happens when we forget to remember who we are? We get all of that in Proverbs 26. So let's dive right in. So, as snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Okay, so many things packed in verses 1 through 5. The gist here is nobody can curse you. When I was a little kid, in the previous chapters, I've told you this. My dad is Muslim, my mom is Christian. And so I had the blessing of growing up with two people who loved God and responded to God and their faith in different ways, but to the same God, and taught me how to love God, not to love religion, but really love God, the one that religion claims to connect us to. And I've also learned through that how religion can separate us from God and our spirituality. So anyway, so for me, when I was in probably primary school, maybe fourth grade, this little boy at school cursed. He said, "I'm going to curse you, and an orange tree is going to grow out of your head," because I was eating oranges and I was swallowing the seed. And he said, "You're cursed, and a tree is going to grow out of your head by tomorrow morning." I was so scared. I ran home and I said to my dad, "Dad, what does the Quran say about cursing?" Because, he said he's going to curse me. And my dad was like, "Slow down, what's going on?" And I said, "He cursed me, and tomorrow an orange tree is going to grow out of my head, and I'm never going to eat oranges again." And my dad said, he can't do that. He can't do that. And I was a Christian. And my dad said to me, "Well, your Jesus says that he who is in you is much bigger than anyone in the world." And I thought Jesus was in the sky. I thought the church told me that God was up there. He said, no, God is inside of you, okay? And he said, "But go to your mom. She's the Christian. She can tell you the thing." So I ran to my mom. I was like, "I'm getting cursed." And she said, "Greater is he, God, that is in you, than any idiot in the world, than any person in the world. So nobody can curse you." So here in verses 1 through and 2, we see that as the bird by wandering and the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. So no one can curse what God has not cursed, okay? Greater is he that is in you than anything that is in the world. no matter what comes your way, no matter who threatens you, no matter what people say to you in your business, in your life, in your relationships, great is God in you, the hope of his glory in you, that's fully expressing itself through you than anything in the world, no matter how big it seems. It's tiny compared to God, okay? All right, so let's continue. Verse 4 talks about a fool, and it says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, and he'll be wise in his own conceit. I learned this the hard way. In law school, I was a teaching assistant for criminal law and evidence, and there was some idiots in the class. And I hate saying the word idiot, but they were idiots at the time. I was very immature. I was about 22 years old, and I would get really upset. I had serious anger issues to people who would try to challenge me as a black woman and treated me like I was an idiot because of the color of my skin. And I remember there were these two kids in class. Well, people would ask questions in class and I would respond, and because they didn't know the answer and they wanted instructions, so I would support them. And there were these two guys who were only in law school because daddy said they had to come to law school to inherit the money that he was going to leave for them. So they had to come to law school. And they would literally just ask questions just to piss me off. And they didn't care about the answer. They just wanted to fight with me or to prove that I was stupid. I remember just thinking, God, not today. I am not the one. I am unavailable for your BS. And so one time I went to my professor and I was like, you have to kick them out of class because I can't stand them. And he said, look, Mimi, your worst day is their best day. And you are their worst nightmare. So do not respond to idiots, because you make their day every time you breathe in their direction. Just when they talk to you, zip it. Do not encourage their nonsense, because every time you do that, it fuels them to keep going. Ignore fools. Even the Bible tells you that. Even Jesus did not answer certain questions because it was completely stupid and foolish. Okay? So that's 4 and 5. Figure out how to use that in your business. Where are you showing up and just talking to people and responding to DMs that piss you off, or questions or comments on your Facebook page? Shut up. Zip it. Take your hands off that page. Unless Jesus is the one tweeting you or sending you an email, do not respond to it. And God's not going to email you. He will talk to you through his word. Okay? So here we go. He that sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off the feet and brings damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. Avoid fools. Just ignore fools. Just leave them alone, okay? This chapter is really about bad decisions and getting God's wisdom to make better decisions in our businesses and in our lives. Where are you making bad choices in your business? Where are you making consistently bad choices that keep you from making profits, that keep you from working with the clients you want to work with, that keep you from raising your prices or creating the potent body of work that God has put you to share in the world? Where are you consistently going after formulas and blueprints and scripts instead of tapping into God's wisdom in your prosperous womb and harvesting and midwifing those to create the thing that you're actually here to create and sell, so that God shines through you and you be who he has called you to be in the world? Like, what decisions are you making? Where are you making sales pricing and profit decisions that don't serve you, but you do the same thing you did in 2011, in 2012, and 2013, even though it's not working, but you keep doing it. You keep thinking another script is going to save you, another coach is going to save you. Where are you making bad decisions, and how can you make better decisions? What habits are keeping you from being healthy and being well and enjoying freedom? Where are you tying your own hands when it comes to your health and your freedom? What are you eating? What are you drinking? How long are you sleeping? Are you meditating? Are you praying? Are you doing the thing, whatever it is for you, whether it's meditation, prayer, chanting, singing, that supports you to be your best self every day? Like, what habits are keeping you from that? What behaviors put you in the middle of unnecessary drama? Where are you always in the middle of drama? Somebody's always saying something about you. You always have to go teach somebody a lesson. Like, what's going on? And where do you need to shut the heck up? Let's continue. The great God that formed all things rewards both the fool and the transgressors. As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool returns to his folly. Where are you returning to your vomit? Where are you licking your vomit? I remember one time in grad school, my professor said, every time you go back to a relationship that did not work out before, you're licking your vomit. Every time you make a bad decision that you made the year before in your business, you're licking your vomit. Every time you say no to the wiser choice, you are licking your vomit. Where are you licking your vomit? Oh, that sounds so gross just saying it. Where are you doing that? Where are you causing drama in your own life? See thou, O man, wise in his own conceit. There is more hope of a fool than of him. Have you ever been married to somebody who thinks he is God and who is wise in his own eyes and thinks that because you read the Bible or believe in God, you're living in a fantasy? Yeah. None of us want that. So avoid dealing with people who are wise in their own conceit, who think that they're better than God, that the God in them is not as good as they are, even though he created them. Just saying. There is more hope of a fool than of him. Okay? There's more hope. Again, foolishness. When you see foolishness, run away from it. Run, do not walk from foolish people, anything that's going to make you foolish in your business, step away from it. The slothful man says, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turns on its hinges, so does a slothful turn up on his bed. It's basically saying the person who's always procrastinating, who doesn't want to do things, is always making excuses for why the thing cannot be done. Where in your business are you tolerating the same BS? Where in your business are you making excuses for the things you haven't done that you know you need to do? Where in your business are you procrastinating on making that phone call or making that offer, on creating the offer and selling it? Where in your business are you procrastinating on creating that relationship, reaching out to that one person, whether it's via DM, whether it's by phone, whether it's by email? Where are you not doing the 3 things you need to do today because it's too cold outside? Where are you not going to the gym because it's snowing today? You can work out at home. You can do a 2-minute plank. Like where are you being a sloth? Where are you not doing the thing and making better, wiser choices so you can work wiser, not harder? This is all related to our business. Life is business. Okay. So the slothful hides his hand in the bosom, and it's hard for him to even feed himself. Okay. Laziness does not serve any of us. Let's do the things that we know we need to do and make better, wiser choices to create a business that's a going concern that supports us to be in our mission, step fully into our assignment, and play full out in the world. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passes by and meddles with the strife belonging not to him. Look, when you see drama, don't sit in it. Don't attract drama. How do we do that? By being in the midst of it. Like, don't engage with people that you know are going to create drama, even though you think you're the one that's right. Don't add drama to your life. It takes years off your life. It gives you premature wrinkles. It's not good for you. It raises your blood pressure. It increases and maximizes your waistline. Be unavailable for anything that takes away your peace, including drama and foolishness. Even if it's with people that you love them from the next state or the next country. As a madman who casts firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceives his neighbor. We learned in the last chapter that people who lie against their neighbors or their friends are like weapons. They're deadly weapons. The same thing here. Firebrands, arrows, and death. They're death, not even a weapon. Anybody who lies against you, anybody who comes falsely against you is death. Stay away from death unless you're ready to die. Where there's no wood, the fire goes out. So where there's no liar or gossiper, the strife stops. Okay, if you've been married before, if you haven't had an argument with your spouse yet, well, that could mean that you guys get along great, or it could mean that you're both passive aggressive and avoiding the issue. But anyway, if you are not passive aggressive and you have had an argument with your spouse, no matter how big or small, you know what happens when one of you doesn't shut up. You could go all the way to 6 a.m. in the morning, from 2 p.m. to 6 in the morning, where everybody's trying to make their point and everybody thinks they're right, and you can just keep going. But if you shut up, the argument stops because there's no more wood for the fire. Back home, when I was growing up in Africa, my grandma, we used to cook. There were times when we would cook outside on a 3-fire stone. If you're African and you've done this, you know what I'm talking about. And you use wood for that and coal. And at night, when we're going back off to bed, I would want to pour water on the coals to make them just die on the wood. And my grandmother would say, no, don't worry. If you just stop adding wood to the fire, you'd eventually die. So you don't have to pour water on it. It's the same thing with the argument. If you just walk out of it, it dies. If one person gets off on fighting with the other and attracting the other one to fight, and you choose not to, there can be no argument. There will be no fight. You can sleep better. You avoid the wrinkles if you don't want to wear makeup, and you will not raise your blood pressure, and you'll be happy. Okay? So just don't engage in strife. Zip it, zip it, zip it. Shut your mouth. Avoid strife. Avoid unnecessary arguments, because in those situations, whether it's in your business, in your relationships, wherever, nobody's ever right. So just be the wise one and stop talking. Okay? All right. Here we go. The words of a talebearer are like wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart. A wicked heart is an unforgiving heart, a heart that does not forgive, which a lot of us, including myself, have, and it takes God's wisdom to forgive. You know, people say all the time, forgive, forgive, forgive. It's one of the hardest, most challenging, most difficult things to do in our humanness. But thank God, Jesus died for us to give us that righteousness that supports us to seek God's wisdom, to say, God, help me to forgive this person. Because if you don't, again, it's going to give you premature signs of wrinkles and aging. It's going to increase your waistline. It's going to give you blood pressure. It's going to give you cancer. So forgive. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. They're not going to die. You will get sick and die. You have hormonal imbalance. So forgive. But forgiveness comes from wisdom with God. Okay? That's the only way we can forgive. We can't do it on our own. If we could, there will be no such thing as unforgiveness. And sometimes we pretend like we have. And when we do that, we screw our business, because when you have unforgiveness and you're walking around with that, it clouds your judgment when it comes to making sales decisions, pricing decisions, when it comes to making things about profitability, when it comes to deciding who to work with and what offers to sell. Unforgiveness clouds your judgment because all you're thinking is revenge on that person and how bad they are to you. Forgive and let go so your business can let go and flow. He that hates disassembles with his lips and layers up deceit within him. When he speaks fear, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. If you don't forgive and you're walking around pretending to be forgiven, if you have hate in your heart and you're pretending to love, you're kind of like Judas Iscariot when he came to betray Jesus and he was kissing him. So every time somebody kisses me and says nice things to me, I wonder, what are they up to? Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Oh, and this verse between 21 and 28 also talks about gossip. I remember I used to love gossip, and sometimes maybe I still do, who knows. But I remember in the law firm especially, there was so much drama all the time. And I am really, really one of those people that does not do drama. I've never even watched the news. I am not into drama. I'm unavailable for it in my family, when I was married, in my relationships, whatever. I'm unavailable for the drama. I love my life way too much. But here's the thing. I used to love gossip. So every time in the law firm when something happened, and somebody will walk into my office and shut the door and stand behind it, and they'll look at me, I'm like, oh my God, girl, this is good. Just, oh my God, tell me, what happened? And every time something happened that I wanted to share with somebody, all I had to do was walk into their office and shut the door and go, girl. And they're like, yes, do tell. We loved it. It was juicy. It was fun. We could talk about other people and forget about our crappy lives or our crappy behavior, whatever it was. And it became really not fun anymore. The more I grew closer to God in my faith, the more I grew in my spirituality, the less interest I had in gossip. And then it felt like you become an outsider to everybody else who's having it, because what's up with this? Is it like a Jesus thing where you don't gossip anymore? It's not that it's not interesting anymore. It's just that I'm unavailable for it. And that is all part of self-control that we talked about in chapter 25. And don't trust anyone that starts a conversation with, I don't mean to gossip, but doing it now. So seek God's wisdom on self-control to avoid gossip, to avoid unforgiveness, to avoid hatred in your heart when you're pretending to forgive. I know for years, I pretend to forgive people. I've pretended to forgive people for years. And then while I'm studying the Bible in my morning routine or whatever it is I'm doing, my prayer meditation, God starts to convict me like, Mimi, no, you're lying to yourself. You viscerally hate that person. You're just lying to yourself. You like Judas. You're kissing them on the lips while emotionally and mentally shooting darts in their direction. Not cool. Not cool. I'm calling myself out. You can call yourself out or whatever you're doing. Or maybe you're an angel. I don't know. Okay. Whosoever digs a pit shall fall in there, and he that rolls a stone, it will return upon him. This is like an African proverb. Like, don't lay traps for people, especially when they're innocent and you're just doing it because you don't like them. Whatever you wish for somebody else will come upon you. I remember telling one of my best friends one day, I said there was some person that I was having issues with and I wished these bad things for them. And I went to her and I said, I have to stop wishing these things on him. And she said to me, why? It's exciting. I said, no, I've noticed that everything I wish happens to him is happening to me, which means I can't curse him. Greater is God in him than me in the world. I got to stop. So one time my pastor said to me, he said, whatever it is that you pray for yourself, pray for the people who you don't like the same thing. Wish that for them too. And God will help heal your heart. And I just don't mean any stranger. Maybe it's your ex-husband, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your father. It's usually family related, because they're the ones that know how to, the relationships that you go into because of love or you're born into are the ones that know how to twist the knife in you the most. So, learn how to forgive in those relationships so that your life is better. You can make better and wiser decisions in your business, because your business is affected by hate. Your business is affected by unforgiveness, and your business is affected by gossip, whether you believe it or not. A lying tongue hates those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Yeah, they flatter you while kissing you. In the law firm, I used to call it, he's pissing on my leg and telling me it's rain. Not cool. Not cool. So be wise, be discerning, know when people are not for you, know who's for you and who's not for you, and know why you're attracting certain drama into your life and who you need to be in the world to attract that. Before I became a coach, before coach training, I would always say, why is this my life? Why is this happening to me? And after I got trained as a coach, my first training, I learned, who am I being that I'm attracting this? It's not outside of me, it's who I'm being and showing up. And that is what is creating my reality. So what is creating the reality in your business? And how is it showing up in your profit margin? Let me know how this lands for you.